Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be doing something just a little bit off the beaten path, so to speak, and it's still going to be recording and home studio related, but it's going to be just a little bit different from the normal stuff that we do around here. So my son recently decided he wanted to pick up the drums, which kind of broke Dad's heart because I'm a guitarist and really wanted him to learn guitar. He was doing so good, but he decided he was going to go a different direction. However, he does still have a musical interest, so I'm going to get behind him either way and try to help him do that. So Christmas is coming up, and I thought, well, I'm going to go ahead and get him a drum set. And obviously, when you have a huge box show up on your doorstep, you cannot hide the fact that there's a drum set in it, especially when it's really big on the side of the box. So he got an early Christmas present from Dad. And that's what we're going to talk about, actually, is the Eastar drum set and the dampener accessory that I got with it. So, as you can see, here's me acting like I know what I'm doing on these drums. But the drums themselves is $260, I believe, right now on Amazon, and they're really cheap. However, I should say they're really affordable. They're not cheap in the least bit. When I got them out of the box and started putting them together, having been around drums my whole life, and I know what good drums should sound like, they actually don't sound that bad. The heads, probably, if you were going to get these for the studio, the heads might need replaced after a while. You know, if you're wanting to, maybe you're a beginner and you're wanting to just get a drum set to learn on, this would be perfect. If you're a seasoned veteran, you would definitely need to replace the heads in order to make this drum set a little bit better, and also the cymbal. But other than that, the drum set itself is really solid. The shells are solid. They're put together very well. All the hardware is put together very well. So for $260, he got a really decent drum set, and what made it really unique is the fact that it came with everything. So the drum throne, the sticks, the cymbals, every single thing that you need, including the drum key, and I mean just whatever you can think of that you're going to need, and even some extra parts in case you was to lose some. So the drums themselves, when I got them all put together, got the heads on, got it all tuned up to the best of my ability, didn't sound really that bad. And so that's what I actually wanted to talk about today, just real briefly. I wanted to show you kind of my processing on this and exactly how I recorded these drums. And then I want to show you a trick that you can use, which most drummers are very aware of. And if you've been recording live drums your whole life, I'm sure you know about this. But for those of you who maybe do not know about those things, this is what I'm here for. I'm just always trying to explain stuff that maybe a beginner doesn't know about. And so let's just kind of go over the process first of exactly how these were recorded. So in this picture here, yet again, here I am, you can see on the left-hand side, there's a mic stand in front, and on the right-hand side, there's a mic stand in front. So on the left-hand side, facing the drums, is an MXL V67G just above, probably, I'd say probably 2 feet above that cymbal there. And of course, in the video that you're about to see here in a minute with the sound examples, I called it a hi-hat. I apologize. But at any rate, just above it is the MXL V67G, sort of a darker sounding microphone, so I put it over top of the cymbal. And then on the right hand side, drum facing, I have the Rode NT1A. Now, I got these set up to where they're pointed down sort of towards me at an angle, so they're not picking up just what's directly below it. They're more picking up a little bit of what's bouncing off the wall as well, to give it a little bit of room and ambience of that nature. And then also, when I put these up, they're exactly the same height, and I took a tape measure and measured from one capsule to the other exactly 3 feet. So that gave me my 3-to-1 ratio. And the phase, if you look here, I'll just bring you into what the phase looks like. So if we were to zoom in, like let's say here, you'll notice that the phase is actually almost spot on. There may be a few places where it's kind of wavering a bit, but it is almost spot on. So by getting that phase in there, you're going to have a lot better drum sounds and samples. Now let's talk about the processing that I'm doing on the drums before you hear any sound examples, and just real quickly I'll show you what they sound like before and after. The video that you're about to see, where I go through the whole sound check and everything like that, you're going to be able to hear that a little bit better. Towards the end of that video, I actually do an A-B comparison of before and after. And so the processing that I'm doing on the drums is just the PX64 drum strip. This is a stock plug-in with Cakewalk by BandLab. Has a shaper section, a comp section, expander, equalizer. Didn't use the delay. It also has saturation before and after, so you can saturate your signal coming in and you can saturate it on the way out. I am doing that very small amounts, just kind of adding some color to the weight and the decay to the shape that I've given it, and then also a little bit of compression, some expander to take away that room noise in between the lulls. And the equalizer section, got it set to vintage, basically just cutting out around the 400 hertz range, which is excellent for the kick drum, and then just boosting around the cymbal area where it would sound pleasant. Apart from that, I'm just adding some reverb. Adding some reverb room sound. Just used a stock preset here, hi-fi drum room, blended it to taste, and just went on and I actually just moved the order of those, so I need to switch that back. There we go. And then lastly, I just have the drum bus is running into this PC bus, which stands for parallel compression, and I'm just simply blending that parallel compression, which is a heavily compressed signal of those drums, back into the original, blending it to taste. Yet again, if I was to A-B it, take it in and remove it, you probably wouldn't even notice it, and that's kind of the point. All it does is just make the toms and the kick and everything just a little bit tighter. However, the big game changer here, and this is what I wanted to kind of bring up today, and this is why the video is not just about the drums themselves, but actually about the dampener accessory as well. When I went ahead and got the drums, I knew that I was going to need something to tame those toms, especially if I was going to try to record these drums. So on a side note, yes, my son got a drum set, but Dad also got another thing that he could record. So, and knowing how to record these from times past, I went ahead and said, okay, I'm going to have to get some drum dampeners. And sort of in the drummer world, they call these things moon gels, and all it is simply is just, well, you know what, to be honest, don't tell a lot of people I said this, but you can actually go to Walmart or the dollar store or the Dollar Tree. In the kids section, there's a little bitty, they're like $1, $2. They're called window clings. It's just like a little rubber thing you can peel off, you stick it on the window. Kids love it, but guess what? It's the exact same thing as a moon gel, and you're paying $30 and $40 and $50 even more dollars for those things. Kind of pricey. However, the ones that this company, Eastar, sells are actually clear. They come in like a nice little package. There's 16 of them for $4.99. I thought that's actually not that bad, and it looks better than having dolphins and butterflies and stuff sticking around on your drums. So they're almost transparent to the point where you can't even see that they're being utilized. But the point that I'm getting at is when you apply these to your toms, especially, is where they make the huge difference. When you apply these to your drums, you go from having this very resonant ringing sound from your toms, which then resonates to the next tom, and then resonates to the next tom, and everything's just resonating together. You have this huge amalgamation of sound that you have to try to tame. You can dampen it into the place where, by putting on the right amount or taking off the right amount, however you should so choose to do it, you can get a really good tight drum sound from these. So this is before the dampeners were applied. I want you to take a listen to this. So you'll notice that those toms have a lot of ring in them. Now when we go to this section here, this is where I've actually applied the drum dampeners. Listen especially to the toms whenever they're being hit. Okay, so if you were listening in studio headphones or monitors, that was going to be really easy to hear. The resonance is almost completely gone. And what that does is it's almost like putting a compression plug-in on those drum toms. It just simply takes that resonance and just whoosh, completely dampens it. So very cool little tip for recording acoustic drums. If you have not used them before, I would definitely recommend that you try it out. Is this set perfect? No, but for $260, you cannot beat it. So if you need a good affordable drum set, I'll leave a link in the description below. It will be an affiliate link, not from the company themselves, but just from Amazon. I am an Amazon affiliate, so anything that you would purchase through those affiliate links, it just simply gives me a small kickback at no extra cost to you so that I can keep the channel going. And by small kickback, I literally mean minute kickback. I've been helping to sell the Boss BR800. It's a $500 unit. I get $15 kickback on that every time I sell one. So not a lot to brag or boast about, but you know, it helps to pay the bills. So I'm going to go ahead and cut now to the video, and the video will go more in depth for the before and the after. It'll also show you this drum set before I added the effects and after I added the effects, so you can kind of get what it would sound like if it was just a completely dry set too. So enjoy, and if you're already here, why not go ahead and take the time to subscribe and click that bell icon so that each time I upload a new video, you'll be the first to know. Alright, I'm going to cut to the footage now, and I'll talk to you all later. Alright, so we're now installing the drum dampeners. On the corner there, it goes from this to the ring there. You're going to pick up on the biggest difference on the toms. Before and after. You'll notice there's a ring that's missing now that was there before. Makes them a little beefier. You can also put the moon gels on the bottom of the drum to take out the resonance from the bottom. That's after. Before, you hear the ring of the tom. Put these on. It's a lot more fatter sounding, I think. So here's the next one. You can definitely hear that ring, and it carries on for quite a bit. Dampener on the top and bottom. Starting to sound a little more like a real drum set now. Okay, we're going to install some more dampeners on the floor tom. Little known fact about these moon gels is the fact that you can actually wash these and reuse them. You can cut them into pieces and make them smaller. A lot of resonance on that floor tom. Stick one on the top, one on the bottom. It's a bigger surface area, so I'm going to go ahead and use 4 on this. This particular set comes with 16 pieces, so there's more than enough to go around here. Stick them on the edges so your drumsticks don't hit them. Just put, generally speaking, people don't put them on the hi-hats. This hi-hat has a lot of resonance. If I was to stick one here on the bottom, It's not a very pleasant sound, so generally speaking, people do not put them on the hi-hats. I'm going to put 2 more on the snare. Alright, so we heard the before. Now let's hear after installing the moon gels on the drum. Almost forgot. I didn't install any on the kick drum. Careful of the packaging, just ripped my thumb open. So kick drum before, a lot of resonance there. Stick a moon gel on the top. Yet again, larger surface area, so you're probably going to need more. And you can use these basically just depending on your taste. And then I'm going to stick some on the back side for the reciprocating resonances. Alright, kick drum after. Sounds a lot tighter. What you'll notice is in recording, when you take away those rings that's in the toms and in the kick drum and the snare, it's going to make it a lot easier to EQ and a lot easier to make it sound fatter. Whenever you put compression on it, you're not going to be compressing up the ringing noise that's coming off of the toms or the kick drum. You're actually going to be compressing that initial transient that you're going to get from them. So, yet again, not a drummer, but here's a good representation of what the gels will do.